All right, welcome back. Shemeka, I got two things I need you to make sense of today. We'll start with two separate reactions to the COVID masking deal. And these are videos from 2019 that are just getting popularized today. One is a man in a Walmart going off on, it's a black man going off on a white guy who's not wearing a mask at Walmart. And then the other video is Dr. Fauci and I believe the mayor of Washington, D.C., running around in 2021 trying to push the COVID vaccine on black people, and it didn't go well. Take a look at these two videos kind of mashed up together, and then let's try to make some sense of this.
You know how many years were invested in this approach? About 20 years of science to get us to be able to do it.
20 years is not enough. And 9 months is definitely not enough for nobody to be taking no vaccination that you all came up with.
If all thousands of people like you don't get vaccinated, you're going to let this virus continue to percolate in this country and in this world.
Something like the common flu then, right?
And not
it's
like
much more
flu.
serious than the flu.
Well, the flu kills a lot of people annually too.
You know how many?
What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Right here. What you gonna do? Stay right here. You need to go get a mask. I'm gonna stay right here to defend myself. I'm not scared of you. I ain't scared of you. Stay right here. You're scared to die or what? I'll show you what you say. Right you need to get a mask, you son of a bitch. Right here. I'm not scared. You in here contaminating the whole goddamn store. I'm here. I'm here. You sleep with that mask on 24/7? 7 days a week? Let me make this clear to you, boy. You need a mask on. You need a mask on, boy.
So, Shemeka, I would like to think the first gentleman represents the mood of black men right now in 23, how we feel about COVID and the jab and masking. But I still see an element of black people everywhere that are still wearing their mask and look at you crazy when you're not wearing your mask. Which one of these two guys is more reflective of where black people are at right now as it relates to COVID?
So, Jason, I don't know. I sort of think it kind of depends on age, just at least where I am, because I see a lot of young men who have done away with the mask a long time ago. They really didn't even want to wear it, but because a lot of businesses required you to have it on before you could even come in, they complied. But a lot of people, I would say maybe 50 and under, just kind of did away with the mask, because they're sick of it. And so when I saw this man or this video resurfacing from 2021, I thought great. And it was just something that kind of charged me because I felt like there were just a few of us that were saying, hey, don't buy into this. We can't trust the government. We need more time. And to see someone actually stand up to his mayor and to Dr. Fauci was just great to see. When I saw the other gentleman, I thought, hey, it's Fat Tyrone, because he was he was standing there sounding nuts and crazy. And this is what I still see from maybe 50 and up. There was a gentleman talking to me this weekend, and it was so frustrating because he had a mask on. And I wanted to say, sir, not only am I looking at you because you're weak, because I can't understand what you're saying, you have this face diaper on. So my lack of being able to understand you is not because you lack communication skills. It's because you are still buying into the narrative that this mask is going to save you. Like, I'm pretty sure you have 15 shots, and yet you are still wearing a mask. And that's what I'm seeing from a lot of people. The unvaccinated are like, you know what? I don't have time. Those that have every shot still feel afraid. And I'm thinking, if you think that shot, or you thought it was going to do what they told you, and you were so confident, and you wanted to keep the unvaccinated out of restaurants and off planes and off trains, why are you still so scared? Now, if you have some type of underlying illness, if you're fat, like obviously that man was in Walmart, like he has bigger fish to fry, it looks like he done fried some bigger fish and ate it. You don't have time to, I see why you may want to have on a mask. You don't want to, I don't know, gamble with your life. But he looked really silly. And to add, he had on gray sweatpants that were not gray sweatpantsing. And so the whole thing just looked ridiculous to me.
The thing that I thought about is how much conflict I caused within my own family with how I addressed COVID. And within my own family, I was thought of as the crazy person. And it always baffled me because again, they would always politicize it or underline it was just an unstated thing. Oh, Jason, he's a crazy Trump supporter, or he's one of them crazy MAGA people. And it never made sense because, one, I've never voted, but that will change. And you can call me a MAGA supporter if you want to. It doesn't bother me. But also what just baffled me is like, Trump came up with the vaccine, Operation Warp Speed. Trump pushed the vaccine, but somehow there's this whole segment of the black population that sees taking the vaccine as the greatest thing they can do to show their support or their animosity towards Trump and MAGA. And again, the guy at Walmart, that hostility, I just look at him like, now if that was would he have done a black guy that way? Or was he looking at this guy and think, oh, this has got to be a Trump supporter, and so let me tell him how stupid he is and go off on him and he's ruining it for everything. I've just never understood the logic of how wearing a mask and taking the vaccine is somehow a way to show your displeasure or your distaste, disdain for Donald Trump when he is responsible for the vaccine.
It shows they don't have any type of logic, Jason, because you're right. And I remember in 2020 when Trump was talking about, we're doing this Operation Warp Speed and we're going to have a vaccine by the end of the year. So many of them were saying, well, I'm not taking it. That was just too quick, because they wanted to be against Trump. But as soon as he lost the election and things were handed over to Biden, and all of a sudden now we have the confidence to take this vaccine. Well, it's the same exact vaccine. And that's how it was for me. Like, a lot of people didn't want to hear what I had to say. It did not matter to them that I majored in biology, and the whole mRNA threw up a red flag for me. It was something that had never been done in humans. And so I had what I considered legitimate reasons as to why I didn't want to jump in line for this. It didn't matter that they were giving out $100 or a Big Mac or anything like that. And it had nothing to do with Trump. Trump was actually saying, hey, he was bragging that he, got this done in record time and we should take it. So if people were actually paying attention, they would see it had nothing to do with Trump. I campaigned very hard for Trump in 2020. I was gone almost every weekend. The only time I ever had a COVID test during all this time was when I did something for the Trump campaign. I had to take a blood test to have a COVID test. And so it had nothing to do with Trump, but people kept pushing that. And so it just shows that they don't have any logic and they're not paying attention and they're following the masses, and whatever I say following the masses, but it's following the massa, because everything the Democrat leaders tell you to do, you bow down to it. At first they were saying no, no, no. And then when they started saying yes, 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 people fell right in line. So no, it makes no sense. There's nothing logical about it.
Thank you for making it make sense. You guys watching, hit the likes, leave a comment. Did this make it make sense for me? Maybe there's something me and Shemeka left out. What do you make of the Walmart guy versus the Fauci guy? Who's right, who's wrong? Where do we stand now? Thank you for watching. Hit the likes. Like what you saw? Hit that like button, subscribe, and check out the full episode by clicking the link below.